Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana Market Update video. Today is Friday, the 23rd of August. Happy Shimmering Skies release is officially out at Big Box Retail. Your pre-orders are no longer pre-orders on TCG Player. If you go out and buy a Shimmering Skies box or case, you will get it shipped, with the normal time frame, day or two later. It looks like a case right now is $4.15 on TCG Player, which is I think is very fair. And then a box of Shimmering Skies is $110, which I agree. I think that's a fair price. I think you can get them cheaper. But at the end of the day, that's not an egregious price by any means, in my opinion. We did see the expected value of that box come down quite a bit overnight, as we expected. Looks like it dropped about $6. The expected value as of an hour ago was about 118 per box. Now, I don't expect that to stay. I expect that to continue to drop. But at the end of the day, getting in for 110, you're probably going to be okay for the near future. It seems like this set has a lot more staying power than Ursula's Return does right now, at least. And so be very interested to see how that shakes out over the coming days. And especially, as we get into like Monday, for example, when we have this big supply increase, right? What does that expected value look like? Hopefully, we don't get down to Ursula's Return, which has gone down again. It's down to $74 for Ursula's Return. Real quick, Into the Inklings is 105, Rise of the Floodborn is 112, and First Chapter is 203 expected values as of today. Don't have too much to talk about, guys. I did want to just shout out Shimmering Skies. It's officially here. I did want to hit on the First Chapter. I feel like these Amazon, like the people who have these bots that scoop up these Amazon First Chapter sales, get them and then flip them immediately. That's all I can think of, because they're getting them for around 150, and then I think they're immediately listing them because there are 40 boxes available under $220 right now, which is, I mean, that's like what it was when we got that huge restock and at the end of the Ursula's Return set champs. That's kind of what we saw price wise there, and that was a huge influx of product on the market. So a nice little discount here if you're looking to get First Chapter. 215 all in for the cheapest box, expected value at around 203. I think that's a pretty, it's not great, but at the end of the day, if you want a chance to open First Chapter, these were going for 240 just a couple of days ago pretty consistently. So I would, if you're looking for First Chapter, not a bad time to get in on it. And then I wanted to talk about the D23 Collectors Box. So on TCG Player, the lowest listing is 209 all in, 210 essentially, and there's 29 available. You can see they've been selling here, consistently at this with the seller, tons of pops. But if you hop over to eBay, you can actually find boxes for like 174 with $8 of shipping with an option to offer there. And then you can also see listings for 179 with $5 of shipping. So they're readily available for that like more 180 price point on eBay rather than TCG Player. So if you are still looking to get this product, you can save $30-$40 a box if you get a decent rate on eBay. Then obviously you can take into account the tax incentives and things like that if you are tax exempt on eBay. So just be on the lookout for that for the D23 box. And then I wanted to just talk a little bit about some thoughts I've been having continued about the Stitch and how much I love this card. Clearly I talked about it a million times. But I was thinking about the population report and how many Stitches, when you compare it to some of the trophy cards that are being given out at the challenge events. Right now, I forecast, and this is if they quit using the trophy cards at the end of this challenge series at the end of this year, which, quick reminder, shout out to everyone going to Toronto. Best of luck with the travels there. Hope everyone gets there, has a good time, and everyone wins a golden Mickey and returns home. But in terms of the Let It Go, for example, this card is getting down to what I initially said was my price target. It's down to $589. There's one available. Beyond that, it goes back up to $749. I initially said that my price target for this card was like sub 500, like 500 to right around there. And then I started thinking about how many of them are going to be in existence. I forecast around 1,200. And then you start to think about the gem mint rate for these cards, and specifically for the Let It Go, and really all of the price cards for the Lorcana Challenge events, they get a gem mint grade of a PSA 10 like 70 to 80% of the time is kind of the range that they fall between. I was speaking specifically about the Let It Go, the Cinderella, the top prize version, and then the Rapunzel Gifted with Healing top prize version, the foil versions. They get a gem mint grade a lot of the time. Ravensburger did a great job with these promos in terms of how they were cutting them and production and things like that. Not so much with like the prize wall exclusives Rapunzel. You can see that that's a very hard card to grade. But at the end of the day, most of these cards are getting a pretty good grade. There's going to be 1,200 Let It Goes in existence. It gets a gem mint grade 70 to 80% of the time. So if they start giving out these cards, stop giving out these cards at the end of the year after the last challenge event, which I believe will be Seattle in October, if they quit giving them out at that point, I think that we're probably going to see a gem mint like PSA 10 total pop count of this card of like around 800 would be my final guess. And I just don't think that the Stitch is going to get that high. Right now it's at 376, obviously very hard to grade, right? Sub 50% gem mint rate. And I just feel like so many of these cards have been graded that are going to be graded. This is slowly going to continue to trickle up, right? It's going to get up to the 400s and 500s, but I really think it's going to level out there for a significant period of time. I don't think we're going to see another huge influx of these cards that are getting graded. I think that this card had so much awareness and so much speculation in the beginning. You got to remember, this card was going for like 1,200 consistently in the beginning. I got my copies at 500, and I thought that was a good deal. Now it was like during that Mayhem sale where I was getting 13% back and all sorts of stuff. So I still feel fine about where I got these cards. But at the end of the day, I don't think that there's going to be an 800, 900, 1,000 pop count on this particular card, where I feel like it could be for like the Let It Go, for example. And so that just brings me back to, if you haven't acquired this card yet, I would truthfully, save up your funds, do whatever you got to do. It doesn't have to be today or overnight. It's not going to go to 1,000 tomorrow. But there was a reason this card was, the speculation had it around 1,200 when it first came out, and then we continue to see it kind of drop off from there. This card is going to have legs in the future. I think that as Lorcana continues to grow, we get into Continentals, we get into Worlds, and it really grows the collector space specifically. Right now, the game is still so heavily driven on players, growing the collector side of the game, which comes with longevity and people connecting with it, and that machine is just going to happen over time. I think that getting this trophy card is going to be it's going to be a worthwhile addition to any collection. Now, with that being said, obviously getting the cleanest copy you can makes sense. So take your time, scroll through your eBay listings, look at photos, get on TCG Player, try and find a copy that you feel like is in a pretty good quality. Like a lot of these Stitches, like you can see, they have a lot of foil wear, wear on the edges. This one on the front isn't too bad. This is pretty common on this card. I think you could probably get away with like that front wear, where this copy might get, as you can see, a little bit of blemish there on the bottom left and bottom right. We can't see the top very much. It's like I personally would probably avoid this copy and look for a different copy. But that's why I'm saying, just take your time, find a copy you feel like is a good bang for your buck, and I would definitely be adding that card to my collection. That would kind of be my starting point if I was just getting into Lorcana, because I feel like it's just an awesome card. It looks fantastic in person. First trophy card, all the different things that I've gone through a million times, and especially when you compare it to something like the Let It Go, which was originally a top 64 price card. It was then bumped up to the top 128 because of the larger event size, and then it was continued to be given out at each of the events as they progressed, each of the challenge events. And so, like, to take it the next step, I forecast there's going to be about 600 of the cold foil Cinderellas in existence. Similar boat there in terms of gem mint rate. The top price Cinderella, what is that, about 80% right now of the time, 75%, it's getting a gem mint grade. That probably puts that total pop count into like the 400 to 500 range. So like that's truly like kind of where the Stitch is probably going to fall in terms of like total pop report, something more in line with the cold foil Cinderella, but that card is going for thousands of dollars, right? You can get the Stitch for 350. And so I just feel like, the Stitch remains a significant value. I want to see if we have any foil versions on TCG Player at the moment. We have 1,300 is the cheapest for a foil version. Looks like two sold for 1,000, two sold for 1,075. Quick shout out to the guy who reached out and said his buddy bought 2 of these after the first challenge event for 3,500 a piece. Ugh, gosh, do not FOMO in, guys. So much money to be lost when you FOMO in. Like our buddy who paid, $700 or $800 for the mini, that's now a meme at 69. So, just be patient. Don't FOMO in. We're getting close to where I think it's going to make sense to get the trophy cards. 3-4 months. We get to the end of the year here. I think it's definitely going to be acquisition time for the trophy cards, which I'm very excited for. Since they announced those cards, they were some of the favorite cards that I had seen in Lorcana yet, and I think that they just make a ton of sense. So, with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for me. I will be back with another video soon. Happy 1 year to Lorcana. Happy Shimmering Skies release, and we will talk to you guys soon.